we'll get going, so.
Yep.
Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead Weekly number 93. My name is Panzer, and today we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, Legion went live yesterday, if you can even believe that. I almost can't, and we're going to be talking about all of that, all of the guides Wowhead has to offer, all the fun things you may have missed, some merchandising stuff, some giveaway stuff. But before we do that, I would like to introduce my lovely co-host, Wowhead Site Manager, Perculia.
Oh. Hey everyone!
Did you see that transition?
Oh.
I didn't mean to. It was like the corniest clock. I'm sorry, guys. Go on, Perk. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Perk. I'm very excited about Legion. And yeah, we have so many guides and info sharing awesome things on Wowhead, and we have even more discounts, some that are not even announced yet on the post.
Good.
So
oh my god,
yeah,
no,
we'll just run it
I
down
hadn't heard about
and
either of these
yeah,
until
ask
today.
us questions, and we'll be collecting them and answering any Legion questions at the end too, as a reminder.
Same as last week. I think that worked out really well. Sass is going to be collecting. I feel weird calling him Sass, but I'm going to go with it. Sass is going to be collecting you guys.
Very sassy.
I know. I just picture him being like, "Snap! That your question will not be asked, ma'am." But yes, Sass will be collecting you guys' questions, and we'll pick out 3 or 4 or 5 to answer at the end of the show. We're going to try to keep today's show a little shorter, a little more on topic than usual, because we know that everyone here wants to go play Legion.
Yeah.
Mostly me.
Not really news, but just like going over the stuff that you're gonna do as soon as you start playing.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to hit some of the basic points, obviously the new max level is 110, but you can start questing in the Broken Isles at 98 as long as you have the Legion expansion. There's the new class, the Demon Hunters, and pretty much you just do either your Demon Hunter starting area or Broken Shore, depending on if you're playing a Demon Hunter or not. Then you go to Legion Dalaran, and then you get your artifact, which is your main weapon for the entire expansion. At level 102, you can get your off-specs artifacts. So if you're a druid, you can get 4. If you're every other class, except Demon Hunters can only get 2, I guess. Everybody else can get 3. And yeah, then there's the new dungeons, and the raids are coming out soon. There's all the new questing zones.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, we should show the awesome new Legion trailer that came out, The Fate of Azeroth.
So I've literally, I started playing Legion at like 6 a.m. Eastern time, and I played until I went to bed. Then I got up this morning, I had a doctor's appointment, and I haven't gotten back on set, so I hadn't seen this trailer. So guys, Perk is telling me, like, you need to put these clips in the video, and I'm like, Perk, my computer's all messed up. I just told you I got a blue screen of death. I can't edit these. And she's like, what are you talking about? Because the clips are in, I thought those of you who saw The Fate of Azeroth would probably get a kick out of my behind the times knowledge. But this is a trailer that Blizzard put out to celebrate Legion that is a bunch of little clips from cinematics, and it's called The Fate of Azeroth.
Heroes of Azeroth, I have witnessed our end. Demonic armies spilling over the horizon and onto our shores. Heed my warning. The Burning Legion has returned. Stronger, more determined than ever before. These demons seek to annihilate everything upon Azeroth. No single person can stand against the Legion alone.
And so you came to me. I will deal with these intruders.
No, she wouldn't. I knew we couldn't trust her!
In the end, death claims us all.
The Legion cannot be stopped.
Our time is short. Now go. But remember, should you fail, all worlds will burn.
Okay, so that was an amazing trailer. First and foremost, that was a super good trailer.
Yeah, yes.
So it also reminded me of almost like reality TV in a way, because it took a bunch of cinematics and edited them without enough context to know what's going on, but to get you really excited.
Yeah, you can speculate a lot in different directions because, Yeah, I mean, like, the way it's put together, you think that maybe some characters, like, did something evil or they're defeated, but if you know the whole story, it's like a flashback, so...
Yeah, I also like, and I didn't mention this last week, but I really like that in the cinematics, a lot of things are overlapping between the Horde and Alliance in this expansion, and I really like that the Horde only gets the Horde perspective and the Alliance only gets the Alliance perspective. It's a different point of view.
Yeah, it makes you want to watch both. It makes you want to play both factions.
Yeah, it makes you want to figure out what really happened, and I kind of like, even though obviously we know that Sylvanas is not really a traitor in that situation, it's still fun that she's sort of presented in this mysterious context of like, she didn't, did she?
Right. And what's also interesting about the fate of Azeroth is this trailer included some teasers for new quest cinematics that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Queen Ashara's hand into the, you know, green well of eternity. That was all news. So we have we have those cinematics in case for whatever reason you can't play Legion, but it's really recommended to watch those for the first time as you quest for the full context.
Oh yeah, and you know it's funny because I made a video that's rendering on my other computer that, oh dear, I hope that's okay. Sorry, I just looked over and it's also in a black screen now. I'm having a terrible time with technology. But I was talking about how I feel like in Legion they've done such a good job of conveying story without forcing you to read every word of every text of every quest. You know what I mean? Like
it feels a little more natural. Like I feel like with some quests, if you blink, you would miss an interesting part of the lore, and then you have to like re-look it up or do it on an alt to fully understand. But the zones feel very evocative, and even if you don't know every little detail, you have a sense of what's going on because, like, you know, the people around you are reacting to things. There's NPCs, like, you know, the loot you get has names. Like, the scenery is very stunning. There's those, you know, important quest bubbles that pop up in the center of your screen now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the questing, I feel, is very interesting, and there's so many new minor characters, and they don't just die. They just sort of... It's like, oh, like, here's a cool demon hunter, and, you know, she's sassy, and she's just following you around, and you see her in a few zones, and it just makes the world feel complete, and not that an NPC is there as, like, a vehicle just to turn the quest into.
Yeah, there was a lot of parts. Like, I went through, and I've done, and we'll talk about this a little more, but I did, like, every single quest in Val'sharah, and then I'm working on High Mountain now, and I'm planning on doing every single quest in every zone that I go to, which is very different than my usual approach to...
Wow, yeah, that is real. Yeah,
well,
like,
but the reason is that it's scaled.
God,
okay, so in every other expansion, though, you, at one point, usually you out-level the zone that you're in. It's very rare that you do every quest, and then you're like, okay, now I'm the appropriate level to go to the next zone. Usually you still have some quests left, but you're high enough to go to the next zone, so you do. Or maybe you don't, but I did. But with scaling, it feels worthwhile to stay. It doesn't feel like you're in any way hindering yourself by staying. So that was my big motivating factor. But I feel like with all of the cutscenes and the talking chat heads, and even like the voice acting as you're walking to and from different characters, I just feel like there's a lot more immersion into the world than there has been.
Right, and it's a lot of personality in the minor characters. Like, one character I really like in Azuna is Runas, the Nightfall, and that's addicted to magic, but he wants to show he's really not addicted to it, and he's like, oh, like, I'm totally fine. Ooh, mana crystal, and
I haven't been there yet. I'm super excited because I had access to the beta, but I only used the beta for like talents and spells and abilities and numbers and screenshots. I actually really didn't want to be a jaded player going into it. I wanted that organic, this is new experience. So I only had done about an hour in Val'sharah and about an hour in High Mountain. So I figured I'd get those two out of the way, and then everything else would essentially be brand new for me. So
yeah. So do we want to run down the guides and features and like the new stuff, and then we'll just go into
I'm gonna
our
flip it over to
like,
you to
stuff. Okay.
I'm gonna flip it over to you to talk about all the stuff that Wowhead has to offer for people who are just now getting into Legion, or maybe you're already there but you don't know about it, and then we'll come back to talk about some fun, cool stuff, our personal impressions, and other stuff unrelated.
Yep. All right. So, if you go on a Wowhead, the first thing you see is, you know, Legion expansion guide, and this is all the stuff that we have in it. So classes obviously have a lot of updates. New class information you want to know about are obviously gear recommendations, legendaries, and artifact builds. And we have members of the community who write guides to each spec, and they've updated it with all of these recommendations, so they're definitely worth checking out, and they're doing really well. This expansion, actually, they're like some of the top pages on the site. So that's really awesome. They work hard, and you should definitely check out, the artifact calc and their gear pages and their talent pages and all that good stuff. Next up, we have artifacts. As mentioned, artifacts, like, they are the weapon. Like, there's no weapon drops. It's just your artifact, and you do a bunch of interesting stuff with it. It can be popular weapons like Ashbringer or Doomhammer. And we have a ton of guides to these. We have guides to acquiring all weapons because you have a different quest line for each, and we have a video of every single quest line. And they're really cool because each one's a different part of the lore. So if you're not big on leveling alts, you should still check them out just to see how, different weapons send you to the same zone at different parts in the timeline. So that's cool. There is a guide to acquiring and spending artifact power. This is what you collect around the world, and then as you level, you spend it on traits, and the traits make different abilities stronger. You can also acquire relics, and relics both, you can socket it into your weapon. They're like weapon gems, and they boost your item level of the weapon as well as specific traits. And then there's a really fun transmog component where there are currently 20 appearances to unlock, including ones from some hidden, varied sources, and they all have really creative things to do. So there are some that are really easy to get, some that are really difficult, and that makes it so everyone is not running around with the same version of the Ashbringer, which is a good thing. And you can also see them in the model viewer, obviously on the artifact calc and dressing room. And last but not least, there is a special fishing artifact called the Underlight Angler. And yeah, I was looking at comments, and people are super excited about the fishing artifact. So yay, fishing professions, go figure. Then next, as part of your artifact, you will be sent to the class hall. And the class hall is important for lots of reasons. It's where you can respec your artifact, but it's also where you can send your champions on missions, more about that in a few, as well as the Order campaign. And the Order campaign is a lore-filled quest line that culminates in unlocking your third relic slot, so you want to get on that right away. Missions are not the same as garrison missions. They are much less frequent, and there are fewer followers, but they're like famous champions instead. And the guy who wrote our followers guide and shipyards guide now has a class missions guide, so I know those guides are super popular. If you like them, definitely check out the class hall missions guide, because it's that same level of detail that's also easy to read at the same time. Next, we have gearing up. At launch, the maximum eye level is 850, except for legendaries, which are 895. Good sources of gear are mythic dungeons at 840. World quests can vary based on your item level, but they're easy to get. You don't need a group. There are world bosses, and there's also a class hall set where you do different things like get honored with a faction or kill dungeons, and then you can buy a piece of gear that resembles Mist of Pandaria challenge mode armor. And the neat thing about Legion loot is that the Warforged and Titan Forge system has a lot of item level variations like Diablo, so it's more about like you do the activity that you like, and you could pleasantly be surprised if an item procs 850. Versus feeling like you have to just grind out one source, and that's like the only way you'll get the item at that particular source. So yeah, I think it has more freedom as to stuff you can do, and we have a guide to like legendaries and gearing up, and again, the class guides go over all that good stuff. Trying to get through this quickly. We have dungeons. There are 10 new dungeons. We have strategy guides to them by Dayani, aka Heliocentric, who did all of our Warlords dungeon and raid guides. Dungeons are important in Legion because lots of quests send you into there, like Profession and the Order campaign quests. And leveling dungeons use that same magical invasion scaling tech where you can be really different levels but still play together and feel like you're contributing. So that will help with queues. A special note about dungeons, Court of Stars and Archway are 2 dungeons that are mythic only. They have special bonus loot because to access the dungeons, you first need attunement, and because it takes all this extra time to do, the loot, should be interesting. So there's like special 2-piece item sets. Professions, they have elaborate quest lines, and at max level, there is the Obliterum Forge, and you can obliterate all of your crafted gear. And then you can create this Obliterum, which is then used to enhance the item level of your crafted gear. So the idea is you craft a bunch of stuff. If that's not what you want, incinerate it, and then use that to make the gear you want better. And there's some really fun things with quests, like scribes meet the author of the steamy romance novel, and the alchemy table, this kind of, maniacal undead. He trashes the table when an experiment goes wrong and you have to go around the world to restore the table. Blacksmiths hang out with the High Mountain Tauren. They make a Fell Corehound mount. So lots of cute little things. Professions are also intertwined with reputation. There are 6 new reputations, and they all have these shoulder enchants, which can give mobs a chance to drop items that help with professions, even the very high in demand bloods. There's also lots of pets and toys, and some rank 3 recipes are sold by them at Revered and Exalted. And they have a little bit of flavor, like the High Mountain vendor has special totems and logs you can buy, which, just sounds funny. There's an item that is literally called a log. I'm not going to get too much into max level stuff because I know a lot of people aren't there yet, but the 2 main things are Suramar. It's very complex to explain. I think we'll do that more next week, but we have a really detailed Suramar guide by Voxel, who has tons of popular comments on Wowhead, like the Big Bag in Timeless Isle Guide, so he has tons of explanations on all the ins and outs. And then we also have world quests, which spawn all over the world once you hit friendly with the 5 factions that are max level. And they can have gear, they can have artifact power, they spawn at random times, they shouldn't feel as mandatory as dailies. And if you do quests for the highlighted faction of the day, you can get a cache of loot that can even contain legendaries. So, with World Quest, you do them to get different reputations, and then when you have reputations, you can buy things to help with professions, and then the professions, you go to the dungeon, so it's all related. Yay. Few more things. Broken Isles Pathfinder is an achievement for the first step of flying, and our flying tool is updated for tracking this, which is exciting. And we also have a guide set up onto all the different steps. It's kind of similar to Draenor Pathfinder, but some parts will take longer. For example, the Suramar part of Lore Master is really lengthy. It requires Exalted with Suramar. It's a really long quest line. Users have left comments on how to do every single part of the chain, which is awesome. There's World Quest, there's an Order campaign, so never too early to start thinking about flying. And then, we have our stuff like our transmog sets updated for Legion, the dressing room is updated for Legion, we have our cute mountain pet guides, and there's super cute things like the Bloodfang Cocoon and the Fox Mount. And as always, we've had a lot of users help us out in supplementing our guides with cool topics they wanted to write. And we have users leaving, awesome comments and videos and screenshots and data uploads from the betas. So, thank you so much for this. If you don't see something that's in the guide, check out the comments on Wowhead, and there'll probably be an awesome comment, left by a beta tester on a topic. And that's, it's really super cool how, the staff works hard, and then people want to submit guides, and we can host them on Wowhead, and then there's comments that are really awesome, too.
Yeah.
So, I think that's about everything.
You did. You went over literally every guide I think Wowhead has. Pretty much the TLDR is that Wowhead has guides for just about everything. Just about everything. At least all of the very, very in-demand stuff. So if there's anything that you are looking to specifically figure out on Wowhead, or online, really, Wowhead probably has it. I know, I found an NPC while I was questing that was bugged out, and I looked it up, and it was funny because the top comment on Wowhead was he's bugged, check tomorrow. And then there was another one that I went around in circles in High Mall for, I am not kidding, probably 15 minutes before I gave up and looked it up. And the top comment was, this explicit word is in the cave at this entrance. So it's I wasn't the only one who ran around in circles looking for him. Because Blizzard does it now where it's supposed to kind of indicate what level it's on. That's not perfected yet. That's not perfected yet, which has led to more confusion, in my opinion, in some cases, particularly High Mountain. I didn't really have those issues when I was in Val'sharah. High Mountain and me don't get along. I love the zone. It's so pretty. I like the quest. I am not directionally gifted, so to add elevation to that, no.
It's really funny to see what quests are the top on Wowhead at different points. The top quest right now that has several hundred people looking at it is this Stormheim quest, Waking the Shield Maiden, and everyone is just where is the rune on the floor? Like, people are just like, where is this in the cave?
Yep. But it's really
yeah,
helpful
which is
too.
yeah, it's really awesome how it's like you wouldn't think about that in a general questing guide, but it's awesome that someone is like, helpful tip, this is where the obscure
well,
item.
that's the thing is if you don't see what you're looking for in the actual Wowhead guide or section or page, whatever it is, go to the comments. I promise you, someone had the same issue you did, and it's like there. And like same thing goes for stuff like I know like the fun order hall stuff like Shaman have a game. There was like a full description of how to beat the Shaman one like every time, which I ended up Googling a video of how to do lights out.
Right.
But whatever. I'm just saying there's a lot of really cool stuff that. And even if Wowhead itself, like staff, hadn't written it in the guide, there's probably something in the comments that's useful.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, like, we don't want to write a guide that's just going to, like, steal a comment's thunder and be the same thing. Like, we want to supplement it, so we'd rather have the guide, like, explain a concept to you and then, like, refer you to the comments if there's, like, a cool map or an item or something.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
have to be, like, more detailed. So.
Absolutely. But aside from guides, there has been so much fun stuff that has
I
just
know.
been kind of found.
I love how Legion is fun. It's not, like, savage and mud and serious.
I don't really... Well, it's still serious. It's almost, like, dark serious as opposed to, like... Like, Warlords was, like, so brutal, it was comical.
Right.
You know, with the spikes.
But there wasn't an element of, like, fun or just... like a natural cool environment to feel sad when stuff got dark, but with Legion I feel like there's a living world at risk that you feel sad about.
You do, right? So and plus there's dogs and cats that you can pet.
Yes.
That's like a new animation. So you like kneel down and pet them, and then you like get all excited and squee afterwards. It's the best thing.
There's baby deer. They're so cute.
I know. I've been trying to get a rare baby. What is it? Gleam hoof foal? Is that what they're called? Yeah. So I've been trying to get one of those for a little while. Pepe is in Dalaran, flying around.
He spawns everywhere. Like literally, if you look at the comments, like people have documented him spawning on like every single barrel in Dalaran.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Hashtag where in the world is Pepe San Diego?
And he has cute little goggles in the backpack.
His little Terran Gregory. Yep. It's really cute. Also, another cool thing about Dalaran is that if you take the Flight Master from Dalaran, it will use one of your favorite mounts instead of like a default, which I think is really cool. I did it. That was like the suggestion I had in a video a long time ago.
It's really cool it was added in. Like I do remember when it was added in, I just didn't make that connection. So it's like, oh, it's really cool how. Yeah, it's the little things that can make it.
Well, it threw me off because I was flying and I was like, I'm on the
this isn't the Griffin.
This is Is this a bug? And then like the next time I got on, I was on a different mount. And I was like, please don't be a bug. This is so cool. Like this is very cool.
Yeah,
and all you have to do is set.
I think I need to highlight that again for the news because it is very cool.
Yeah, you just set out your favorite mount as.
Well, I just realized like because you can't fly in Legion right now, this is a way to still think about showing off some of your flying mounts.
Well, absolutely, because you can just set one as a favorite, and then you would always see that one.
Right.
And even if it's not about showing it off, even if it's just for you, like
it's like, oh, I miss how I look on this mount. Well, now I'm on this mount.
Well, especially if you play like a Tauren or a Pandaren or any larger, or I guess even smaller character, like they don't always scale as well as the ones that are meant to be mounts for you. So, I don't know. I thought that was really cool. There's also a bunch of little pop culture references. There's Ross and Rachel in the coffee shop. There's Flower there's Aerith Primrose and Caroud.
Yep.
They're like the flower vendors.
There's the pet cemetery that has one of the references too on the stone as well.
Sad.
I know.
Sad. There's a bunch of cool. I mean, Dalaran is just worth honestly just looking around because there's so much good stuff. There's that the art gallery.
Yeah, there's this gallery called Photonic Playground that's really close by to Blizzard, and it's now a shop in Dalaran, and there are paintings from like all different eras in art history that have been given a WoW twist and put it into the game. So like there's one of Pepe with this like Dutch still life from a few centuries ago with, you know, grapes and silverware and everything, and then there's Monet's water lilies, and then there's the Mona Lisa, but like a gnome version of that. So it's super cute.
Yeah, and I mean, we've always had the one painting, and I don't know if it's in that one, but I loved that when you would go to, the first time I saw it, I think was in Northrend, in Howling Fjord. There was the area that you went in, and it was like a little undead village, and there was the picture of like American Gothic, but with two undead.
I love stuff like that.
So good. Yeah. So I love when they do stuff like that. There's also, that's where the Mad Merchant is, which we talked about. He's got the Bloodfang cocoon, which costs 2 million gold. He also offers a pair of gloves that are 855, but they have a Hearth to Dalaran on them. So if you wanted a secondary Dalaran hearth, because Jaina's locket will take you to old Dalaran. It's actually had its tooltip updated, so it says like Northern Dalaran.
Yep, so he spawns, he does this yell, he sells very expensive things like a celestial hippo. There's also just a bunch of little details around Legion Dalaran, which I think are nice. Like, in the Alliance Inn, there's an actual box of Hearthstones by the Innkeeper.
Yeah.
Which, it's just so cute. They're so cute.
There's a lot of really cool stuff. I did a video when they first put in the new version of Dalaran, before the tower was even finished, comparing it side by side of each shop. And even in that unfinished, unpolished state, it was so cool. So I'm just really glad to see that.
Yeah.
It's like I find more and more every day. Like, I fell off. I fell off of Dalaran, but like I didn't fall all the way down. I just fell down onto like a platform ledge. And there was outhouses, and if you peeked into the outhouses, there was like a scantily clad gnome calendar, like pinup girl. So ridiculous. So just in general, there's been like a lot of fun little things that, I don't know. It's just fun about it. Also,
you should take your time and explore.
So many rares and like toys and stuff have so many rares that have toys and pets. So many. Like, if there's a rare, you should kill it, because they've set them so that you can kill them yourselves, even if you're a healer. It takes 10 minutes, but you can do it. And a lot of them drop pets or
and
toys.
they scale with your level too, so it's not like, oh, I have to go back at like 109 to kill this.
Everything scales. Everything scales. It's so nice. It's so nice, but yeah, it's super cool. It's been really, I'm sorry, I'm getting on. Sorry. But everything has been, it's just been fun. Like, it's just been really, really fun. Like, in the past, I've always been like, you know, you got to get to max level, and if you're out leveling zones, you move on to the next zone, and especially with scaling. And like, I don't think we've taken enough time to like discuss how cool scaling really is. Because
it's like it's affected so many things, from low levels participating in invasions to affecting dungeon queues for these Legion dungeons now, so you don't feel like, oh, the 101's getting carried by the 109. Like, it just makes everything flow, and it just feels more alive. That it's not like what level you are to unlock the content. It's like, do you want to do this? Is it fun? Okay, I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. Like, I have like 0 complaints thus far about anything Legion related. I thought the launch was super smooth, very little issues.
That was awesome how they were testing that in July to make sure it didn't happen. They're like, oh, Legion launch stress test. Like, that was super prepared. That was awesome.
Yeah, they were very prepared. There was very little issues at the beginning. There was very little issues throughout the evening. And even when the first day, that evening, there was like a DDoS attack, I don't even know how they handled that so well. Because I saw people getting kicked off, but they'd get right back on, and you'd get little lag spikes. Really, but I mean, they had a DDoS attack launched on them when they've had more people on than they probably have had in a year, and it was very minimally, like, annoying. Like, it was a minor annoyance. It wasn't like a, oh my god, this is the worst. I mean, people were just able to really play and have fun, and there were so few issues that it just, I don't know. Like, it was so well done. And the fact that, we heard about scaling. I remember the first time I heard about scaling in WoW, it was when I still was with WoW Insider. And it was somebody found it on accident. Like, on a PTR, they went and did, like, a random old dungeon.
Oh, yeah. It's like, what is this time walking thing?
Yeah, it was like an accident. It wasn't, they just stumbled across it and were like, oh, you can scale now. And then Blizzard was like, no, you can't. No. And
I mean, I also remember, like, when it first came out with time walking, people were like, oh, like, will this happen with more things? And they're like, oh, maybe. And it's cool to see how it keeps being applied to more things when it's super polished and ready to.
Like, so what I'm referencing, though, it wasn't even out yet. It was like a hidden feature kind of, and like
I remember it was like in a data string or something.
And then like a year later, time walking came out, and then I feel like that was such a limited thing. It was such a, oh, this is just an option, you do it once in a while. I don't feel like anybody had sunk in how really cool that was. And then with the Legion invasions, we saw it a little more, but still people were often playing with people in their own level or weren't grouping. They were just together. So it didn't feel so cool, but I think that now...
I think it was definitely cool for the invasions. Like, I mean, I think people that got really into leveling their alts were like, wow, like, I can just do this thing from, like, 10 to 100, and it works.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not only that, but even like to see it on such a wide scale with the Broken Shore, with every single, or with the Broken Isle, with every single person using it, and then to have such minimal issues with like anything is phenomenal.
Yeah, because there's no starting zone bottleneck. Like in that Gamescom interview, they were talking about how like every Horde player needed to like click on the spyglass to do the garrison. Here it's just, oh, there's people in every single zone. It feels very natural. It's also really nice to just see people coming in and out of Dalaran from every direction. Like that's how it is. It's not like, oh, we're all in this town, like, then we will go to one zone, then the next zone, like, moving as a group is just like, oh, people are doing different things based on, what they're doing on a daily basis. Yeah.
Just for fun. And I like that the stories don't need to be told in a linear fashion to still all coexist and make sense and be part of the same universe. And honestly, like, when I heard that Broken Isle was going to be completely scaled, I thought, well, this is going to go one of two ways. This is going to go really, really well. It's going to be polished and perfect and no issues, or it's going to be a disaster. There's no in between. Like, there's no way this will be kind of okay. Like, it's either going to be flawless and people are going to be completely impressed, or it's going to be like, oh dear, what have we done? And
well, it worked out really well.
It worked out
really
so well.
Tested it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very cool. It's funny because I see people in the chat are talking about a lot of people are 110 already. Those people are going to have to go back and do all that stuff for Legion Pathfinder anyways.
Yes. You need Revered with all the factions, which means that you're going to have to do all the story quests. And you also need Lore Master of Legion, which means you need to do every single story quest again anyway. So
Yep. So I mean, it's just silly. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and you'll want to go and do the treasures because the treasures can give you artifact power, and that scales up with your levels, so that's an incentive to go back at 110 to pick up all those treasure chests.
I've been doing it as I go.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just to clarify, it doesn't scale with your level, but it scales, the items scale with your artifact knowledge now. So, if you forgot to do them, like an item, you could go back and be like, oh look, this item now gives me more artifact power. I might as well do this instead of like ignoring the content.
Yeah, I've just been doing everything as I go. I've got handy notes which tells you where stuff is. So I've been trying to make sure I get as many treasures and rares and everything as possible. I've gotten so many new pets right now. I'm at 726 total pets.
Nice.
With 725 unique. Because I got two blues of like the stupid rabbit, and I couldn't the new rabbit that's in the
I got that one too.
He's not even special, but I had to keep him because he was blue. So yeah, I don't know, it's been a really, really good time. What about you? What do you think?
All right, so I had a fun experience. The very first quest I did, when I logged in, I was mounted in like Elwyn, and if you log in when you're flying, the elemental just drops to the ground and dies. So I'm like, where is my starting quest? And I picked up the Adventure Journal one, and it was for the wrong Karazhan quest, so I got into this other phase version of Karazhan.
Oh no!
So I was like, oh my god, like the first quest isn't working.
Would you just log off and log back on?
Well, like I did that, but because I was still flying, like the elemental just wasn't there again.
Oh my god.
So I go to Wowhead and the comments not there, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I can't do the first quest, and like Wowhead is unhelpful, like what is going on? Logged again. I briefly saw this like pink blob like plummet from the sky, and I'm like, oh, that's what happened to the elemental. So I
wonder if when you landed, if he would have eventually caught up, like on foot.
I thought I did. Like I landed and I waited a while one time and I didn't see him. So then I logged in and out and he came back.
That's funny. So, I wonder if he was like just really far behind and walking at like an RP movement speed. Yeah. And like he would have been there if you had waited a really long time, but no, that elemental I had issues with. That was why I couldn't finish the quest the first time on my shaman, was because he never showed up. So yeah. I got you. That happens. He was the biggest problem of this whole expansion. Yeah.
So I still don't know which class really to play, so I'm alternating leveling them. So my rogue has the outlaw weapon, and she's done a little bit of Val'sharah. And then my demon hunter also got her artifact weapon, and she's questing through Azuna first because, like, that makes sense with the whole demon invasion in the center of Azuna and the highborn background.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm not raiding anymore. I did 5 years ago. But, I just figure I can take more time and just level up my own pace and go back and forth, and it will be fun.
Yeah.
And that's what I am doing. And yeah, I mean, I like both zones equally for different reasons. What I really like in Azuna is, like, the demon hunters, they all have different personalities, which are really fun. The Blue Dragon area is super fun. Senegos is, like, very old and snarky. and his daughter is cool as well. And I love when the Demon Hunters team up with the Blue Dragons. It's just really nice to see all these minor characters doing things and not worrying that they're going to meet their demise at the end of the quest. It's like, oh, look, the characters are just helping you out, and they're going to go back to their respective areas and continue living their lives. Because, like, when I was first questing in beta, whenever I would do a quest, I'm like, oh, this character's going to die at the end or be betrayed. I kept expecting that to happen. Like, there's no purpose after this quest. They'll just be gone.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to see how they're part of a living, breathing environment.
Well, and
also,
that really
Go ahead,
that
sorry.
reinforces the idea of world quests too. If you like met all of these characters on this story quest and then they're involved in the world quest later on, like they're gonna feel more meaningful.
Yeah, like I feel that in Mist of Pandaria there was a struggle to make people relate to new characters because it was like, oh look, pandas, new continent, whole new group of characters.
Yeah.
And Blizzard, it was tough at first, but they did a better job, especially when the Veil was destroyed. Like, that really pulled at people's heartstrings.
Yeah.
But the Warlords, it's like, oh, bye, no more Pandaria. And then they had to start up again with this alternate reality, and it felt very hard to connect, obviously, with the Warlords and everything. So I feel like, it's a challenge to make new characters when WoW is so old that people can relate to, but
Yeah.
I think that Blizzard's doing a good job by introducing all these minor characters with personality, that can stick around because now they're tied to major story points like Illidan or Dalaran versus, oh, this character's cool, but they're in Pandaria, so we won't hear from them for a really long time.
Even like the people in High Mountain though. So like there's the part of the quest of the High Mountain Tauren is that the chieftain, the leader, is being what would the word for that? Superseded by his daughter, preceded by his daughter. And what I really liked about that was there was such a human aspect to that, because as you're being kind of introduced to her, as you're being led up to her, your little guide person is like, I mean, she's ambitious, but she's not her father, that's for sure. And then immediately sees her and is like, hi, how are you? Like, it's so funny because it just reminds me of exactly like how people are. Like, like, warning you, this guy's kind of a jerk. Oh, hello!
Yeah, like, I was mentioning that other guy again, Runus. He, when you first meet him, he's all like, how are you? Like, how dare you attack me? That's quite a nice weapon. Ow, stop hurting me! Like, and he's like, you're hitting me very hard with this, stop.
Oh my god.
And then later in the quest, he's like, I'm not like the rest of those mana addicts. I will, he's like, I'll lead you to what you need. Like, I'll just go walk past this mana crystal. Ooh, look, shiny! And then he runs off, and it's... Yeah, I mean, it just makes you really care about characters, and going on him with, again, like, he does some heroic things, but the dragons hate him, and it's just interesting how, like, not everyone is in agreement, like, oh, this person's great. It's like, oh, this person helped you, but then the other NPC that you're trying to help doesn't like them, and, it's just like, that's how people are.
Yeah.
Like, you meet your objective, and not everyone is happy with it, or... there are unsung heroes at points.
Yep, absolutely. I've so far I've thought it was really, really great. I thought all the areas are really pretty. I personally like the graphic style of WoW though. It's not that hyper realistic. It's more of like a cartoony, like a Pixar movie or something. Like you're in it. And I'm gonna sneeze.
The mud.
I think I might sneeze. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Yeah. No. So like the mud of the mud of the Warlords' capital cities versus Dalaran looking beautiful and amazing and all these varied things. I'm just like, oh, this is so nice too.
Oh, it's so nice.
Did you mystical zones?
I just love all the things that they brought back too that were like nods to Wrath. Like they have all the like bait type items that you can fish from the pool so that you can get the coins easier. And I don't know. I just think so many of the things they did were really cool and really thoughtful, and I'm really enjoying everything so far.
Yeah, I'm having a blast with it. So my goal tonight is to finish the Zuna Valshara bit, and then maybe flip the zones or do the 2 other zones. And like I'm trying really hard not to stop what I'm doing to modify a guide as I'm playing. I'm trying to just enjoy it and not feel like to be like rush, write guide, write news post. So we'll see. So far I'm having fun with it.
But yeah, do you want to show them the thing that you got?
Yeah, I have a thing.
She's got a thing.
So, we showed off the collector's editions a few weeks ago, and there was a signing party in Southern California, where I am now, and I got the box signed. So here's the front, and then here's the back.
It's covered. Is that green or is it silver?
It is silver.
That's cool.
And I should have I took pictures. We didn't have them for the show, but if you look on my Twitter, I took a lot of pictures of the event. They had the signing tables and they had these green lights coming down, so the silver ink was glowy.
That's
And
cool.
everyone on the table doodled really funny things with their pens. Like, one developer was keeping a tally of what spec people were going to play at launch. Another one was asking what zone was the best. Another one was like, which class do you want to nerf? So, really funny things. The area where the art people were was, super covered in doodles. The creator of Pepe left a little Pepe doodle saying Pepe was here.
That's the best.
I know. I didn't get to, they did shifts and I missed the part of the first shift. Like we were in line for 2 hours getting it signed. Like everyone stops and they talk to you and they go back and forth. It's not just, they try to make
a public event, right?
Yeah, it is a public event. You could bring like one item to get signed. They had posters. They had a little shop if you wanted to buy something.
Yeah.
They had the choppers on display. They had that Warglaive on display and Ashbringer. They even had some artists doing speed paintings up there, these monitors. So, yeah, overall, was online. I haven't been to these things before. I was online for a while, but everyone seemed really nice. And, the box is really awesome. And I brought Pepe with his Murloc hat, and lots of people thought that Murloc Pepe needed to be a thing.
He's so cute. He should be a thing in-game.
Exactly. They were like, can we make a Murloc Pepe? So
you should make it literally Pepe in any disguise you can possibly imagine.
I know. That is to happen.
Yeah, so I think we've talked about all the things we want to talk about. Before we go, we do want to talk about some of our new codes that we have going on. We have a new code through the Blizzard Gear Shop. It is WH+15, which will give you 15% off any plushies from the Blizzard Gear Shop. Which does not limit you to World of Warcraft plushies. It also includes like the slippers and the hat and the pillows and stuff like that. So that's a pretty decent discount. And Ganymede's coming out soon. Hopefully he'll be out before the end of September and you can use that. But if you want to get that new Nightmare, Whelpling, or Stitches comes
another
with the
Pepe.
skin, another Pepe, anything, all of
Winston.
those are 50. Yeah, Winston.
Winston is one of the expensive ones. Like, plushies are like $40, some of the oversized ones or the slippers. So yeah, 15% off is really nice on the
it's a decent discount
they're
for
like
sure.
that. Yeah.
So, and those will be on the Wowhead Twitter and everything if you're interested in any of that. Also, we have a code through jinx.com. This is a new one. This is going to give you 10% off and also free shipping internationally through the month of September on any Warcraft products. And all you have to do is use code WOWHEAD at checkout. The video, if it ever renders, that I'm uploading today will have a giveaway. And then Perk, would you like to talk about WowHead's giveaway as well?
Oh yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we reorganized the notes, and I'm like, ooh, where did it go?
It's right there
also
still.
last call for getting your questions in. I have 4 submitted during the show.
Yeah, 4 sounds good.
On the survival guide, it's also a Jinx giveaway, and we are giving away 10 hoodies, 10 shirts, and 10 World of Warcraft hats. And if you win, you can pick any of Jinx's merchandise for the World of Warcraft line. So Jinx has a new crossed hoodie that came out, crossed Warglaive's hoodie.
It's right.
Oh yeah,
I have it right there.
but like if you wanted this one instead, you could, totally get this one as opposed to the Warglaive hoodie if you really want that.
This is the, oh my god,
Yeah.
my earphone. It like came right out of my ear. Okay, so this is the front. It's got just like a zip up and a rune on the chest, but it's really plain. But then the back has like giant crossed Warglaives on the back.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really nice because with a Jinx giveaway, it's not limited to a certain size or style.
Yeah, because they
or
give you
country.
codes. It's so
They
nice.
just give a code and you just redeem it for like any size or style you want, and the shipping is free.
Yeah.
So to enter in the big Legion survival post, you can't miss it. Reply to the post with a Wowhead link about what your favorite thing in Legion is, and it can be like an item or a guide or an NPC, like anything really. Just like tell us why you're excited about that. And this giveaway ends on September 5th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific, and only one comment will count towards the random drawing. So, yeah, that is it for merchandise.
Yeah, you got questions for us?
Yeah, so let's see. Supa Brady, will all classes eventually get a teleport to their order hall, or do we have to go back to the portals in Dalaran every time?
Probably not. You'll probably still have
Right.
to go back to Dalaran, but I mean, your Dalaran hearth, you have that. Plus, you could also set your hearthstone to Dalaran if you wanted. So I mean, you have a lot of opportunities to get
Right.
back to Dalaran. So I don't think that's like horribly inconvenient. And the reason for that is that Blizzard didn't want people isolated off in their order halls. They wanted people to make that trip back to Dalaran so they could see other people, and that's where you're gonna congregate.
Right, and the reason why some do and some don't is that those were classes that always had teleports
Yeah.
to areas, like that, like Moonglade or Ebonhold.
Yep. Or mages are
yeah.
just mages. They can do that.
Yeah.
So it sort of
Also,
like goes with their lore.
When you do the the quest to unlock world quests, you get a Flight Master's whistle. When you use it, it will port you to the nearest Flight Master, so that will help you get around as well.
Well, I feel like, too, once you're not questing actively, like, in specific areas, you'll probably just set your regular hearth in Dal, and then you'll have two Dalaran hearths. Plus, when you're in your order hall, you don't have to hearth back. You can just use the port in your order hall, so, yeah.
Yeah. The next one is there any specific zone arrangement that is better suited for various profession progressions? I mean, like, with all the scaling, you can sort of do them in any order. Some professions are more dungeon heavy than others. The profession guides lay it out, and there's also users have left comments like outlining where all the quests are. So, like, it really doesn't matter. I would say that Halls of Valor is used for a ton of professions. So, make sure, like, pick up the profession quest before you do Halls of Valor. For that, and alchemy is the one that is like super heavy with dungeons. I want to say you have to do something like 6 dungeons to get all the rank 1 recipes, and like other ones maybe have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Can you transmog the fishing artifact? I don't actually know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The fishing artifact is very mysterious. But
I would probably
we have
guess
guides
no,
for it
because
now.
you can't transmog fishing poles now, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think you can either. I would guess no.
This is a question for you. It's, what was that volcano thing that dropped when you were playing Legion?
Oh, okay. So in the Shaman Order Hall, there's you can go up a ramp and you can play like a mini game that's essentially lights out. And if you go through all of the different levels that they give you, you get a toy that's like a little volcano. But it's from the Shaman Order Hall like mini game, which now I can't even play anymore unless it resets daily because I did too many. Hopefully they add more to that, like Plants vs. Zombies, where you can kind of like keep going. Or at least it just resets randomly. Like, who cares, even if it's...
Yeah. Yeah, so...
But, yeah, that's from the Shaman Order Hall. Definitely check out your Order Halls. If there's mini-games, there's probably a reward for doing it. All of them.
Oh,
like,
one thing I forgot to mention is, so there's this order advancement system, and it's something you pour your resources into, and when you... like progress through the tech tree, the final rank lets you equip 2 legendaries versus 1. But like most of the ranks are very like mission or like world quest or order resource focused, but there's the rank, one of the options for rank 2 is very creative, and it's tied to like pets or hidden artifact appearances or toys. So we have a guide to that as well, obviously, but check it out. That's another kind of cool flavor thing in your order hall. Like for rogues, I know it will let you loot like a trove of the Thunder King key, and you can run that scenario, and at the end there's a hidden artifact appearance.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah. Like that's one of the options. And then like druids, you can plant seeds, and there's toys that
for who now?
sprout up. What'd you say?
That's for who now?
Druids have this.
No,
druids
before
have
that.
Rogues.
Oh, it's for rogues, because I got keys from my artifact acquisition as well, and I thought they were just for the same thing that you
these
did
were
before.
like these are specifically for the Isle of Thunder like mini game scenario.
Yeah, no, that's the
like
same thing I got, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm confusing myself now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I
Like,
heard keys and got excited.
Yeah, there's just all sorts of little things like that as part of the tier 2 order advancement. So if you like cool things, make sure you pick up the weirder sounding option, because you could get like pets or cute stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The amount of pets this expansion is really impressive.
I know.
Just as random rewards from quests. It like really encourages you to do the side quests because there's so many pets from side quests.
Yep. Let's see. The last one I think is, are either of you utilizing the new Facebook streaming, and do you like, dislike it, and are neutral? So, you might have more thoughts on this than me. My thoughts is that it's not activated for Mac yet, but I think it's a cool idea to have a very user-friendly UI for people that want to start off streaming or, like, want to just do it and share it with a few friends. Like, it can be very overwhelming to think about, like, what programs you need and all that stuff, but, well, you know, I think that Blizzard has done a good job of making it appeal to beginners. But I can't access it yet.
I think, okay, so my thoughts on that are I'm really glad that they have something that allows you to do it right through the platform. Yeah. I think if they want actual streamers to use it, which is the only way it'll really ever... And that's not really Blizzard, that would be Facebook, because I'm sure this has to do with Facebook. But if they ever wanted anybody to actually use it, they would need to have secondary integrations, which I think is against what the point of it is. So I think for someone who's streaming just straight up for fun and nothing else, that just wants to reach their own friends or family or whatever, I think it's really cool that there's a way to do it without secondary software bogging down your system.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for questions.
That's how I feel. Other than panicked, because although, for the record, in the like 3 seconds that I looked over a few times to see what was going on, I think I know what the problem is. I think I diagnosed it. So, one thing's going to go right in my life today. But I hope that you guys all are enjoying the expansion, because I think it's
really fun.
Yeah, it really is very, very fun, and I think they did a really, really good job, and I'm glad that... I don't know. I'm glad that it's going as well as it is, because it's always, I mean, it was very discouraging. And I think, okay, so my brain is moving a million miles an hour right now.
Okay.
But so during, like, anytime anybody's upset about something, like, I feel like people are so quick to make videos and to, like, post on the forums and to rage here and rage there. Oh, I couldn't click the spyglass. I've been stuck here for an hour. People freak out when something is wrong. And I have not seen very many people that are like lining up to make videos about a smooth launch, and like they should. And pretty much I just want to say it a million times if it hasn't been said, like, Blizzard did a great job. People are really enjoying themselves. I look forward to future expansions even more, knowing that they've got this down now and that it's going to have this level of
I have
polish.
one more cool thread that I wanted to share when you mentioned there was no outreach thread. So this one user made a post on the forums being like, hated with Moonglade, can't do Druid Artifact quest. And that was just really funny and amazing.
How did they get hated with Moonglade?
They were just like killing Cenarian Circle.
So that's their fault. Like,
exactly.
Is the consequences of your own actions for being a
but it just was so good because it's like, you know, you got hated with your fellow druids, and now they actually don't want to give you an artifact.
That's amazing. Honestly, like, I hope that they have to go back and, like, I don't know, man. Like, that's your own fault. Like, I don't know why you would sit and kill, and it's what you get for being a jerk.
There was one guy in Vanilla who got, like, hated with the Argent Crusade, and he's like, oh, yeah, Scrawler Crusade for life, and then he had to grind all the rep back when Nax hit. So... yeah, it's just fun to see stuff like that and how funny threads like that were capturing people's attention versus angry spyglass threads.
Yeah. That's really funny though. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him, that then kind of like, what a dedication to killing druids for no reason.
Yep.
Like, you committed genocide, bro.
Yep.
What did you expect? They don't want to give you the artifact. You didn't earn it. You're not the hero that Azeroth needs. But yeah, so anyways, it seems like we're about caught up for now. We will be announcing probably early next week when the next show is, because I'm traveling again and I don't know exactly when. So I don't know that it'll be on a Friday again. So just keep an eye on the Wowhead Twitter and stuff, and we'll keep you up to date on what's going on. But thank you, everybody who came out and watched us on this weird day at a weird time. We really appreciate it. We usually stream Wowhead Weekly on Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Like I said, though, the next week is going to be at a different time because I know I'm not here on Friday.
Yeah, we don't want to not do a show because, Legion is new. We want to share all this information, and it'll be weird to not do a show.
Yeah, so we would rather do it today, and then, like, we'll figure out what's going on for the next one, and soon, TM. But thanks again to everybody who... No, I didn't say that. Show is going to be next week. Just don't know what day is all. There won't be a show this Friday. There's not going to be a show in 2 days.
Right.
But there will be a show next week. I'm just not sure what day it is. It might be on Friday. I just can't remember what day I leave. But that is neither here nor there. I'm going to go. We are going to go. Thank you, everybody who came and watched us live and watches us on YouTube. Thank you for following us and subscribing to us and subbing us on Twitch or on the Wowhead, like Patreon, for being a Wowhead subscriber. That removes all of the ads from Wowhead, both on desktop and mobile. You can customize your Today in Legion. You can track quests. You have a special color when you talk in the comments section. All sorts of perks. Plus, it directly supports the show, and we really appreciate it. Like I said, Wowhead Weekly is streamed live, usually on Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern time, and but it probably won't be this week. We'll keep you in the loop. Don't worry, we'll keep you in the loop. And then it is posted on YouTube that evening or the following morning. So we will see you very soon.
Yep.
Enjoy Legion. Have fun. Take your time. Take it in. And
Find Pepe.
we will see you next show.
Yep.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.